Hey, we're back on talking about happiness again, and part two. I want to start with something that Emerson said a couple hundred years ago, Ralph Waldo Emerson, and this is a paraphrase, but every action starts with a thought. And so the beginnings of it always come from thoughts. You know, you can have like two ladies in a rice field in China, and one's happy and just likes being there, and the other one's miserable. And the only difference is what's inside of their heads, what's going on in their heads. So, our thought here is about happiness, and I was saying how if you're down below 200, you really don't even experience happiness. You can't, because it's a spiritual thought. You have to be able to connect up with things that are outside of yourself. And so we're going to take this to a little bit of a different place here. So here we are out in a bigger world, and I'm saying that you have to be connected to the world. You can't have everything just be a reflection of yourself. You have to have that thought, that just instantaneous thought. What if I wasn't the center of everything? What if I was just part of everything? And here we are. So, what can you actually connect up with? What do you have control of? You have control of what's in here. That's something that everybody has control of. And other than that, we don't have control of things. Sometimes it's really good to get away from duality, thinking that things are opposites, like that light is the opposite of dark. And darkness is a little bit of light. Daylight is a lot of light, but they're not opposites. And if you take just paint, the white paint reflects all the colors, the black paint absorbs all the colors, but they're not opposites. One has basically very little color, the other one has a lot of colors, but they're not opposites. So there's a lot of things in our lives that we think are opposites, but if you get away from that, that helps a lot. We get down to what can we control, because we're not, if a car slides down the hill over here and hits the snowbank, that doesn't have anything to do with me. And if I didn't bring the snow that was here for the last couple of days, and I certainly didn't have anything to do with the weather getting warmer, so it's now 40 degrees and everything's melting. Now I have to go out and clean out the slope of the driveway. So those things are all out of my control. And I tell you, it's a lot easier when you don't have to think about controlling all of this. You're not controlling. You don't have to control any of it. Boy, what a relief that is. That it's just happening on its own. Well, here's a positive thought. Imagination. That's a positive thought. Now, imagination is at 216, but you can't really have you're regurgitating things that you see and everything when you're in the negative realm. You get to be positive. That one of the wonderful things that happens then is you start to get to use your imagination. And as you rise up, I talked about this before, was that you need to change some things about your environment if you can, where you are, the people that you're involved in. If you have a lot of negative people around you, you want to kind of move away from those people, and then you'll start to see, wow, you go down to the post office, there's people here I never met before, and I'm interacting with them, and they're positive. And that's different than what you've maybe been experiencing, and it's a lot more pleasant. But there's a lot of people out there that also know that they're not the center of the universe, that all these things happen on their own, and that and you don't have to be responsible for it. If you have ever seen some of the painting shows, they used to have this. Bob Ross was on, and he'd have the happy little trees that he'd paint, so forth. He'd throw in a background, and then he'd start building out mountains. And then he'd put some trees in the front of the mountains, and then he'd put a little river stream coming down here, and build it out into the front of the picture. that is not the way life is. Life comes at you so much more directly, and once you begin to see yourself as not being the center, you have a point of view, though. You have a point of view, and it's actually your nose is in the picture, my glasses are in the picture, my hands are in the picture. The point of view is showing that the world is basically out there, and I'm going out toward the world. The world doesn't come toward me. So that's a real big advantage, and it's something that you're going to have to work. If you suddenly see it, suddenly you go, whoa, look at that, my hand's in the picture again. As a little kid, that was the way things were, and they go, well, look at, why does that person, can I do that, can I stand that way? Okay, I'll stand that way. I mean, you get these forms that happen, but basically you are a center, but you're not the center. And so you have to look out at the world and see it directly as though you're going out to it. That's why you have the old saying from, I'm dripping, it's the water's dripping off the roof here. The old Irish saying where, may the road rise to meet you. That's what happens. If you look down at it, it's not coming from the back toward you. You're going out into this world. And once you start seeing that, wow, it's beautiful. That's where I do this all the time, and people go, hey, Jeff, you're kind of nuts, you know. I'll see some gravel on the down there, and I go, my goodness, isn't that beautiful? Or I'll see the clouds, and it just takes my breath away. And right now, the snowbank is really beautiful over here, all the texture that's going on. So you start to see things as being out beyond you, but it's a whole different point of view, and it's a lot more fun. It's much more fun to be drawn to the future than it is to be pushed by the past, whether it's the people in your life that are negative or your parents and out in front of you, you have maybe 5, 6 different pathways. The future is not set. It can go in any direction, so you have to choose this. And here's where that idea of a thought comes in. You have a thought. What is that thought? The first thought that we're talking about is that, oh yeah, I am not the center of the world. It's a big world out there, and I'm just a piece of that world. So that's the thought that I want you to get right now. But the next thought is, well, look at all these pathways that are in front of me. I can choose what I want to do with my life because it's out there, and I'm going forward. It's like kind of being on a bicycle. You know, the bike takes you forward, and walking takes you forward into the future. That's why, you know, you have to take lessons to learn how to drive, because if you drive that car out on a busy road and somebody else has the right of way, bam, you're going to find out real quick you're not the center of everything.